Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Weekly Pint. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it on time tonight. I literally, well, not literally, but very close to just walked in the door from finishing an episode of Cincy Brewcast tonight. But I made it. I'm here. I'm in studio. You can't see me. Hang on. There we go. Sorry. Howdy, Marco. How are you? Once again, tonight we are streaming to both Facebook and YouTube, so feel free to use whatever platform you like best. Tonight I was out at Esoteric, finally getting to sit down with them to record an episode of Cincy Brewcast, so we made it happen. What are we drinking? I can tell you what I am drinking because I'm going to dive into a Fig Leaf Oktoberfest, my last Fig Leaf Oktoberfest, actually, which is a little sad. I'm running low on my Oktoberfest stash. Marco is drinking a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I could have gone that route, too. I think I still have one more in there. Let's fire up the phone line here. There's that. And there's the phone number. So if you want to call in and having a local Pilsner from Trenton, well, there's only one brewery I know of in Trenton. I think that's also where they make the PBR coffee stuff, the whatever they call it, that tastes like a Yoo-hoo. If you want to take part in the show, you can always, over here, right there, you can always call the number, and it'll patch you right in here in theory, if I've got it all set up right. It was a little chaotic getting everything set up for the show because I was, like I said, running in the door. I ran in the door, ran upstairs, made sure that the wife and the kids were snuggled safely in bed, and then came down here and fired this up. For anybody who has not noticed, the Weekly Pint is now available almost immediately after, immediately after the show. You can watch the playback on YouTube now, and I'm starting to go through and get some notes written and get some artwork made for old episodes and getting them filtered in also. Lee says the wife and I are drinking March 1st Swiss Chocolate Stout. Oh, I love that beer. For anybody who has not heard of the Sleigh Bomb from March 1st, you take the Swiss Chocolate Stout, and then you take a shot of their peppermint schnapps and dump that in there, and it is a minty, wintry glass of deliciousness. Hopefully, this week, I have not had a chance to talk to my wife about it yet, but I'm hoping to get out with the folks over at March 1st to record an episode of Shift Beers. Not that Shift Beers is associated with March 1st at all. Disclaimer. But I I am hoping to sit down with them this week to record an episode. We'll see. Like I said, I have not actually talked to her about that. Typically, we try to, I say we very loosely. I try to get out once a week. Only once a week. Since I've been gone all day today. In theory, I shouldn't go out I shouldn't go out later this week to record, but I would like to. It's not the Rona. Although, we did have a cold that rolled through my family, 2 weeks ago, week ago, something like that, that was a little rough. Shift beers, yeah. So if anybody, don't be COVID coughing. It's not COVID, guys. I just coughed. If anybody doesn't listen to Shift Beers, do that. I love that show so much. So Cincy Brewcast, when we started the show, we kind of built this idea that it was not going to be the type of podcast where it's just people sitting around only drinking beer. We wanted to make sure there was a lot of local content, a lot of sitting down with people from breweries, that sort of thing. The drinking of the beer, especially kind of at the beginning, was supposed to be secondary to it. Sometimes that's harder than others. That's not the case with Shift Beers. Drinking beer is definitely the focus of the show, and I love it. They do some fun ideas, too. The show that I'm trying to make some time to sit down with them, they're calling, I think, Untapped Golf, something like that, where everybody goes to a store and not blindly, but without looking at Untapped, just buys a bottle of something that they think is rated very low on Untapped. And then during the show, whoever gets the lowest rated beer, I guess, wins something. I don't know what, probably $1 million. So that's why I'm trying to go be on the show, because I could use $1 million, and I appreciate Josh Raging Hop putting up $1 million for me. The shows have been fun. It's been cool. They've had some really cool ideas. The gas station singles beers episode was fun. I enjoy it a lot. It brings the fun definitely into craft beer. I think sometimes we take all this beer stuff very seriously, and not that that's bad. It is serious, but at the same time, it is just beer, so there's nothing wrong with having fun with it. So that's that. Today's episode of Cincy Brewcast was somewhere I've got there we go. There's my artwork. Today's episode was with Cartridge Brewing Company. I'm also getting Facebook messages while I'm trying to do the show. We will minimize that. Goodness. I cut my screens down a little bit. Last week, if you guys remember, I was streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. I cut out Periscope this week because I don't like it. So we're just on Facebook and YouTube. Although Instagram would be fun too, but Instagram's not as easy to stream to. I mean, it is easy. You just hit a button on your phone, but to tie it all in. Oh, excuse me, guys. To tie it all into my current setup here is a little bit of a pain. I've also been playing around with a couple ideas for the studio here now that I'm going to be creating a lot more content in studio. So you may see some changes again in the next few weeks. I just can't be satisfied with anything. Marco says the show has really good chemistry about shift beers, and I agree. That is a big part of it. Marco says today's episode was good. I would have liked a little more background on the brewer. I agree 100%. The flip side, so I was trying to keep that show as close to an hour as possible. We were recording it like directly before their soft opening, so at the end of the show there was staff running around trying to get the place ready for the soft opening, so I didn't want to overstep our time frame. I knew they were going to be busy trying to get everything ready, so I cut it a little bit short. Flip side, tonight over at Esoteric, the show ended up going 2 hours. So sorry about that. It's really hard sometimes. I would much rather do, an episode every month with a brewery to try to cover everything I want to cover that way versus trying to cram it all into one episode. Sometimes the doing a podcast isn't difficult, and I don't want to make it sound like it is because it's not that bad, but the pacing of things is the difficult part. Before every episode, I try to put together notes and try to get some kind of outline of where I think the show is going to go, and kind of divide it up into some sections and give myself some kind of guidelines of, what points I need to be hitting at what time to kind of to keep it at an hour. The pacing of it is probably the difficult part, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you'll get like a conversation that you don't want to let up from. You want to kind of. It's funny that you said that. Did you download your parking app and manage that? I spent 15 minutes trying to pay for parking yesterday at Esoteric. I just got notice on my watch that my parking session is expiring in 10 minutes. So, yeah. There we go. Kyle Hackbarth, he is one of the owners over there at Cartridge. He says, looking forward to having you come back and pick Adam's brain anytime. There is a lot of stuff that we didn't touch on at Cartridge. We didn't really dive into the food at all. Didn't talk about the kitchen there and some of the stuff that they're doing. We didn't dive into cocktails and the cocktail program, which granted is a different show than Cincy Brewcast, but I would love to sit down and talk about that stuff. Chicory. Oh goodness. I think I cut that out at the end of the show. Maybe it's still in there. There's always a lot of places you can go with a conversation. Like I said, especially when it's the first time you're sitting down with somebody, there's a lot of different roads. But there's plenty of time to get to all of that, because we will definitely be out there at some point. There's a lot of places that it's difficult to try to make the rounds and try to make it everywhere and get to all the stuff you want to talk about. It's been how long since I've done a Rheingeist show? That's a Rheingeist. It's like the biggest brewery in town. Sam Adams. I haven't sat down at the Sam Adams tap room since they opened their doors. Great Crescent out in Aurora. Man, I haven't been there in like 2 years or something. So there's a lot of places like that it's like, man, I need to hire a person that just manages the schedule of stuff to make sure it all gets rotated through. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I'm going to be yawning a lot. Like I said, I literally haven't been home. Well, I was home for a little bit wrapping up my work day, but from 5:30 until now, and it's 9:30. I mean, that's a long time. I hope everybody had a good Halloween. Curious to know if you guys had trick-or-treaters. I think we were as busy as any other year, but it was strange. Though it was actually kind of nice, I'll be honest. We set up a table at the end of our driveway and made little bags of candy and we put it on the table. And then just sat in the driveway with a couple fire pits, some beers, and just hung out, smoked a couple cigars. So it was nice not to have to, manage handing children candy. Maybe we'll just always do it that way. My 3-year-old didn't seem to mind the COVID restrictions of trick-or-treating, so maybe that's the new normal. It's, other than the fact that we're heading into Thanksgiving and Christmas, where those holidays are very much about being with people. For stuff like Halloween, I'm definitely okay with the restrictions. Has anybody gotten out and tried any beers in tap rooms lately that you're excited about? Because the only tap rooms that I've been to lately are the ones that you guys have heard on the show. I don't even know if this week I'm going to have a vlog for you guys, which is, so the vlog on YouTube is not necessarily meant to be a weekly vlog. It'll just kind of be there when it's there and not when it's not. But as of, so far, the last, 6 weeks or whatever, I've managed to get one together every single week. But so it's kind of sad that I won't be able to this week. But that is life. And the schedule is just so goofy sometimes. The kind of the behind the scenes of how all that usually comes together. Like I mentioned, there's, we try to only get one night a week where I'm out of the house. The other nights to be home with everybody. Which means that night that I'm out of the house, I got to do everything that I want to get done that week. So I try to schedule a brewcast, and I try to schedule some kind of something that I can record for a vlog, which is sometimes really easy, sometimes a little more difficult. If I know what the vlog is going to be about, it's easy to put together content for it. Sometimes I'm kind of making it up as I go along, which means then afterwards there's stuff that I need to go get. So there's footage that I know needs to be part of it. So, and as of right now, I don't know what this week would be about, which would mean I would have to record stuff and then go out and record the other pieces that need filtered in to complete the whole story, I guess. And that's not going to happen by Wednesday. I will. Well, I shouldn't promise anything, but I have a beer sitting there waiting for this week's episode of Prost. So it'll be a freshly recorded episode. I've got a crowler of Big Sis sitting in there. Did any of you guys that are on the stream right now, did any of you guys get out to try Big Sis yet? If so, let me know what you thought, because I freaking loved it. This year's recipe was a tropical stout, which is a style that I'm not super familiar with. I mean, I've had some, but they've all been very different from each other. I think this one kind of toes the line between a tropical stout or a black IPA or something. It's definitely got some hops going on, Citra and Strata hops, and was really, really good. Drinks very easy for 7%, so there's that. If you didn't get a chance to try it, it is still on over at Municipal, so you should go out there and try it. Fill yourself a crowler or a growler and take it home and share it with all your friends. Other than that, I can't think of anything else exciting that's happening this week. Let's see. I mean, other than the big event tomorrow, Election Day. We'll see what happens after that, if there's riots in the streets or what. Don't know if I should plan to crack something open from the beer cellar to to numb some pain or prepare. Who knows? But if nobody else has anything, we can wrap this up. Like I said, you can hopefully, if not hear me on this next episode, hopefully on an upcoming episode of Shift Beers, I'll fire something out. Vernon says, if you haven't been to Saunders since their anniversary party, they still have their anniversary beers on tap. All are on tap. All are amazing. I did make it there. That's a good point. I got to stop there that same night as Cartridge. I swung by and grabbed some of the German chocolate Otto and then a Brooder. And it was fantastic. The only other one that I'm itching to get a hold of and try is the Illuminati. Is that the chocolate one? I'm curious to try that one. Big shout out to Saunders podcast also. Their Saunders Stories. If you guys don't also listen to that, you should subscribe to that show. They did their big anniversary podcast last week. And I always like it's a long episode, but I kind of like those. It's I don't know, I like local kind of based podcasts. It maybe it's just because I guess none of us really get to go and hang out with people and drink beers anymore, but it kind of makes you feel connected to people still, even when you aren't. So I think every single brewery should have their own podcast, just so I can feel like I'm still sitting down and having beers with people. Maybe that's crazy, but that's what I want. So if you're on here and you work for a brewery, make a podcast. Did you watch the BC's Flavor Fest on YouTube? I did not watch all of it yet, no. I caught a little bit of it. Are the replays up on their YouTube somewhere? Because I would like to go back and watch all the other stuff that I missed. And that is their, for anybody who isn't aware, that's their online beer festival that they did a few weeks back, which is such a cool idea. And a difficult idea to do well, and I think that they knocked it out of the park from what I can tell. Brad says, hola. Well, hello. Also, I meant to send you a text message, Brad, but one of my coworkers tagged you in something the other day, so I'm thinking you know one of my coworkers. The entire 4+ hours are there, says Marco, about the Flavortown Beer Festival. I will have to go back and dive into that. So we will we're right at about a half hour, so we'll start wrapping this one up so I can head up and head to bed. I have a 3-year-old in my bed. You have to go back and see who tagged me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many people I want to. It was Leah and Mike. We'll just put it that way. Marco says he's 2 hours in. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch it like over the span of a week. I usually watch YouTube in like these little like 15-minute spurts here and there. Or sometimes when I'm down here working on the computer or something, I'll have it playing like in the background. But that's dangerous too. If you're watching something that you get sucked into, then all of a sudden you're not working anymore. Old school friends. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys, and head on up. Try to get a 3-year-old out of my side of the bed so that I have a spot to sleep tonight. Stay tuned for next week's Brewcast with Esoteric, a big 2-hour episode. Maybe a hair under 2 hours once I get it all finished up, but we'll see. And maybe a vlog, maybe not, probably not. Definitely an episode of Prost, which I think Prost is going to start, probably start posting to YouTube at the same time it posts to Instagram. I don't know. I can't figure out the science behind which way makes the most sense, but like you guys know, I'm pushing hard into YouTube these days, so go over there, subscribe, share, tell people about it, that kind of thing. Watch some videos. I'll start having a bunch of other stuff going on too. Well, I won't go into too many details, but we'll just say, watch YouTube. If you see things with affiliate links and stuff like that, click on them. Helps me out. If you want t-shirts, buy a t-shirt. Actually put a new, I don't have a thing set up to share it easily. I should probably set that up this week too. A good screen share for streams. But I have a new t-shirt on there. It's just a little gnome over here, and then it says you, me, beer. So I thought that was pretty cool. I also put up some kid shirts that say I am gnarly, some baby shirts that say I'm gnarly. A couple new hats, I think. There's one with just like a little gnome here in the middle, and then like a winter beanie with a gnome in the middle. So there's some new stuff on there if you guys need some swag. If you're already a Gnomie, which is if you support on Patreon, I promise there's swag coming. I could blame 100 different things, but it's just me not getting it done. But it will. I promise I'm going to get you some swag. For some of you, it will be extremely personalized swag too. The company that makes my stuff is still not completely back to normal with all this COVID stuff, which doesn't mean I can't get it. It just means it's way more expensive for me right now and takes forever. But I'm going to make it happen, and we'll get you some cool stuff. If you want to support on Patreon, just go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, and it'll take you right there, and you can do that and get in on the swag while I'm trying to figure it all out. So, thank you guys for listening. I promise it won't be as chaotic next week, although I should check the schedule before I say that, because I could very well have... I know I do have a lot of Monday stuff coming up, which is always difficult. Upcoming, we've got... I've got a couple Monday ones coming up. Next week we're good. The following week, Dark Charge Preview Day down at Braxton. So that's on a Monday. That's going to cause some problems. Maybe I'll do the show live from Braxton in an igloo. Municipal Winter Jam collaboration coming soon. Awesome. Yeah, that's exciting. Then the week after the Monday that I'm down at Braxton, I'm doing a show at 16 Lots, also on a Monday. I just need to quit booking Monday shows, and I never think about it until afterwards. And then once we're into December, I have another Monday meeting / possible brewcast booked up for that one too, which for those of you who are on here who do work at breweries, that is the first kind of planning session for next year's Big Sis collaboration, which I don't know what the world is going to look like in COVID regards next year, but hopefully it will be better than it was this year, and we'll get the idea of Big Sis a little more to normalcy. So I will be reaching out to every single one of you to hopefully get you involved in the collaboration, which is really easy. We just all hang out and drink beer. Next year we'll be at Municipal again, so stay tuned for emails and text messages or phone calls or carrier pigeons, however I typically communicate with you. There's not that many people I communicate with carrier pigeons with. But I do want, last year, technically, Big Sis was the biggest collaboration, the biggest Cincinnati collaboration ever. There were more breweries that got together that showed up on the same day, hung out and made a beer together than has ever been done in Cincinnati's history. And I want to continue that trend. I want it to keep growing. I want the idea of the beer to keep growing. But then the actual tapping event, we've raised a ton of money over the years at different events. And this year we didn't even have any kind of raffles or anything to raise money because of COVID, and then also just because of the way the schedule ended up and how chaotic everything ended up being. But tentatively speaking, and I don't want to, speak for Sean and the guys over there at Municipal, but I think we're planning on the brew day happening in August, I believe, and then tapping in September. Tentative, but like I said, I'll know more next month because we, like I said, we're having a meeting to figure all that out. So that's that. I say again, I'm going to wrap this up and get upstairs. So thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. Stay tuned for everything. And subscribe, share, all of that stuff. In all of the platforms you can find. Thank you very much.